Is Taiwan becoming a haven for protesters from Hong Kong? We're going to be talking about that in today's Taiwan Insider. I'm Andrew Ryan.
I'm Natalie So. Let's first have a look at the stories on our radar this week.
Taiwanese airline Far Eastern Air Transport is ceasing its operations on Friday. The sudden announcement on Thursday said the closure was due to financial difficulties. The airline's chairman faces legal repercussions. That's because Taiwan law requires companies the size of Far Eastern to give 60 days notice before large-scale layoffs. The first snow of the winter has come to Taiwan. Xueba National Park in the Central Mountains recorded a light dusting of snow early Friday morning as temperatures plunged island-wide. This may look like a scene from a movie, but it's actual footage taken in a Kaohsiung metro station. Don't worry, it's just an anti-terror drill. National police agents were called in to respond to a simulated shooting with no prior briefing on the scenario and no room for mistakes. Taiwan has welcomed 2 million Japanese visitors so far this year, a new record. Japanese tourists are one of several groups of travelers, offsetting the sharp drop in Chinese visitors after Beijing restricted its citizens' travel to Taiwan. A new pop-up book is teaching kids and their parents how to use inclusive playgrounds designed to welcome people with disabilities. The number of these playgrounds has grown, but sometimes kids hog the equipment. The book aims to teach kids how to make the parks truly inclusive for everyone. And under the radar this week, an injured leopard cat was discovered by a farmer inside a shed. Conservationists took it in for treatment. Once it's healed, the cat will be returned to the wild. Conservationists are also calling on farmers to cut down on pesticides just to prevent any catastrophes.
Usually we introduce our words of the week at the top of the show, but today we're going to introduce our words of the year.
That's right, but before we do that, we're actually going to show everyone the word that the people of Taiwan chose for themselves.
There were 42 shortlisted words, but only one could represent Taiwan in 2019. People cast their votes, and what did they choose? Chaos. Chaos was nominated by Oscar-winning director Ang Lee and Tsinghua University scholar Richard Lee. The two runners-up were lies and worry. Not exactly the happiest of words. Taiwanese badminton champion Zhou Tiancheng says the word chaos shows the need to find one's own peace.
Even in chaos, people can see different things. Still, we need to find peace within ourselves.
2019 saw a number of chaotic events. In Taiwan, flight attendant strikes disrupted air traffic and the Nanfang Bridge collapsed. Internationally, there's the ongoing US-China trade war, Brexit, and the protests in Hong Kong. This is the second time that chaos has been chosen word of the year in Taiwan. The first time was in 2008. In the same vein, the Oxford Dictionary chose climate emergency as their phrase for 2019. With wildfires spreading in forests all over the world, is it only a matter of time before chaos sees a three-peat?
Andrew, you ready to guess my word?
I am.
All right.
Word of the year. Special.
Special.
Super.
A special year.
Start. Straight. Stirrups.
You're getting really creative here.
Straight? No. Strident. Strive.
Strive. Okay, so we saw the word of the year for the people of Taiwan was chaos. And it is an election year. There's been a lot of commotion, a lot of chaos, a lot of rumors and stories from all over the place. But behind all of that, I think people are striving. Political parties are striving for more power. People are striving to become lawmakers and the next president. We also see over in Hong Kong, there's a lot of commotion and protests and chaos. But behind all that, people are also striving for democracy.
And Taiwan Insider is striving to become your, source of choice.
News from Taiwan, and a fun show for you to watch as well.
That's right. That's a great word.
Thanks.
You ready for mine?
Yes.
Mine's a little bit more aspirational. I should just put that out there first. Are you ready?
Oh. Orange? No.
Orange.
Order?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You want it to be orderly around here?
Well, no, I'm
chaos?
not saying that it's orderly, but actually Ang Lee himself because he's one of the people who chose the word chaos
Chaos.
or 乱. He once said that his favorite thing about Taiwan is 乱中有序, so order amidst the chaos. I say whenever there's chaos, look for the order and you'll find some very interesting things.
That sounds philosophical.
I'm trying. You're
So
in
deep.
special.
Okay, so let's put our words up on the shelf.
Also today, do you know where this is? This is a new airport control tower that begins operation on December 16th. Its design is inspired by a famous rock on the northeast coast. So where in Taiwan is this control tower and what's it supposed to look like? We're going to have those answers for you at the end of our show.
Let's start with news about Taiwan becoming a haven for Hong Kong protesters. The New York Times says over 200 protesters from Hong Kong have escaped to Taiwan.
New York Times reporters spoke with a secret network that's helping Hong Kong protesters come to Taiwan. The protests have lasted 6 months, and reports say that over 5,000 have been arrested. Protesters fear that they will face harsh sentences if they stay in Hong Kong. Some people, like Joshua Wong, have called on Taiwan to set up a refugee law to protect the activists like them. President Tsai Ing-wen says Taiwan supports the pursuit of democracy but does not want to intervene. She says Taiwan's laws are sufficient to offer assistance when necessary.
So how can Hong Kong protesters reside legally in Taiwan? That's the subject of today's Taiwan Explained.
In today's Taiwan Explained, I'm going to tell you how Hong Kong residents can reside legally in Taiwan.
All right, Nally, we have 1 minute on the clock. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
Taiwan has laws governing relations with Hong Kong, and there is a clause for political dissidents. Necessary assistance shall be provided to Hong Kong or Macau residents whose safety and liberty are immediately threatened for political reasons. Now, these applicants are approved on a case-by-case basis. Now, is there any other way that Hong Kong residents can legally reside in Taiwan? Well, they can enter with an entry permit and stay for 1 to 6 months. They can become legal residents if they have a direct blood relative or spouse who has a household registration here, special achievements or technical skills, plans to invest at least 6 million NT dollars in Taiwan, approval to attend school in Taiwan. Taiwan could also open its arms to Hong Kong protesters if Beijing intervenes with greater force. Now, just this week, Foreign Minister Joseph Wu said that when that happens, Taiwan is going to work with the international community to provide necessary assistance to those who are displaced by the violence there. I got it in 1 minute.
All right, very nice job, Natalie. Now, I'm curious to know, is Taiwan doing anything to welcome the protesters?
Yes, there are about 10 universities that have short-term and long-term programs so that Hong Kong students can study here. Also, immigration has gone up about 20% this year, and there are NGOs working to help them with their visa situations. But there have been complaints that the standards for getting that kind of asylum are not clear. So that puts a lot of people in uncertainty and limbo.
I know people are working on a refugee law. Is there any opposition to this kind of a law being passed?
Yes, it's been a very controversial issue. So Taiwan, well, the most recent refugee law proposed does not include people from China and Hong Kong.
Okay.
And also, even any thought of having a refugee law for those people would have worries about angering China. Also national security,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So it's a very sensitive and complicated issue.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And that's it for today's Taiwan Explained. In today's Taiwan by Number, we're going to be talking about a temple god known as the Techno Prince, in Chinese, 电音三太子. Now, have the two of you heard of the Techno Prince before?
I have no idea who he is and what he does.
Leslie?
I have, and I understand he's not a DJ.
No, but he's actually connected to techno music. And actually, he is a modern version of a legendary figure who's become popular not only here in Taiwan, but around the world. I want to show you a video. Now, this is the China Airlines and Tourism Bureau's float at the Rose Bowl Parade in January of this year. It won Best International Float. Now, the Techno Prince you can see there on the top has become a beloved figure from Taiwan's temple festival culture. And as you can see, he's represented Taiwan at international events. So who exactly is this lovable child god? Now he's based on a legendary figure who is called the Third Prince, or Nuo. So to get started, I want to ask you, according to legend, how long ago was Prince Nuo born?
According to legend.
1,500 years ago.
1,500 years ago, okay.
I'm gonna double up and say 3,000.
So you're BC and I'm AD.
Yeah, that Confucius episode.
right.
This is hard, yes.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, I'm not good at math. Those are two great guesses. We're going to have the answer for you in just a moment. But first, I want to show you a Miss Taiwan who recently wore an outfit she created herself, inspired by the Techno Prince. Have a look.
This is Joyce Cho. She represented Taiwan at the Miss International Beauty Pageant in Tokyo, wearing this outfit inspired by the Techno Prince, complete with red cape, flags, and LED lights.
不用看上面彩带写的台湾。
Even without Taiwan on her sash, Cho says people can tell that's where she's from. Cho designed the outfit herself, inspired by Taiwan's cheerful Techno Prince. She says the temple god's vitality and bravery make it a great way to represent Taiwan.
视觉的东西你不用去说明。
The visuals speak for themselves, she says. The costume's fun, so people want to learn more about the culture. As a child growing up in Kaohsiung, Cho went to many temple festivals. But what's it like to wear the costume herself?
身上的服饰其实是比较重的，所以
The costume is heavy, she says, making it hard to express the Techno Prince on stage. So what's next for Cho? After returning from Japan in November, the foreign ministry chose her as a youth ambassador, and that means she'll be continuing to share the traditional cultures of Taiwan with the rest of the world.
She's a cute techno princess, isn't she, Leslie?
I mean, I am patriotic, and who else but
Hard
Miss
not to
Taiwan
like, hard not to
really,
like her, right?
All right, let's bring it back to the Techno Prince. Now, before the video, I asked you how long ago Prince Nuo was born. Now you said 1,500 years ago. Leslie, you said 3,000 years ago.
3,000.
Let's have a look at the answer.
Wow, you're
there's-
doing good.
There's a plus at the end
You
of that,
have
so
Well-
maybe destiny for you and
I
her to
hope
get
so.
to.
I hope so.
Again, this has nothing to do with Miss Taiwan. Now, 3,000 plus years ago, this would have been the end of the Shang Dynasty. Of course, we don't have exact dates because this was a legend. Now, when he was born, when he came out, he was this big ball of flesh. He was born after a long pregnancy. His father saw this ball of flesh and thought he was a monster. And so he took a sword and he split him in half.
gross.
And then out popped a fully formed human boy child. So my question for you is how
crazy.
long was that pregnancy? How long was Noja's mother pregnant with him?
5 years.
5 years.
I'm going to say 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the answer.
3.5
3.5
years.
years.
I'm closer.
You
No.
are closer.
Am I?
Yeah, you are close. What?
Wild guess.
So I'm not going to give you the whole story of Prince Noja, but we'll have some links for you below. I do want to say, though, that he was a filial son. He was a fierce fighter. And he also rides around on these little fireballs. So he's very popular with drivers, like taxi drivers, bus drivers, and whatnot. Now, the modern version of him is called the Techno Prince because, as you can see, he's dressed up in like neon clothing. He dances to techno music. He essentially looks like a club kid and even rides around in cars that spit fire. So my question for you is, when did the Techno Prince, the modern version of Prince Noja, become popular?
Oh, techno music didn't happen until
1980s? I don't know, wild guess.
1965.
Wow, okay. You're the youngest member of the team. I should point that out. All right, let's have a look at the answer.
Oh my gosh! No wonder we haven't heard of him.
2006.
I mean, he's the new guy on the block, right?
Yeah, new kid on the block. Well, I mean, that is 13 years ago. But now the modern version of him is a lot of fun. As I mentioned, he does dance to techno. The reason why he came about is because a lot of the young men who wear the god outfits in these temple processions, they actually were club kids. So they brought club kid culture
That's
and
interesting.
temple culture and mixed them together. And the result was the Techno Prince.
That's fascinating.
Fascinating, right? Now, the Techno Prince has proven popular not just in Taiwan, but also with non-Taiwanese as well. I want to introduce you to someone who I met who's called Rémi Gilles. Have a look at this photo. Now, he is from France, and he's a runner. and he actually had a strong connection to the Techno Prince and has worn the Techno Prince costume to go on runs. So my question for you is,
That's crazy.
Can you imagine running in this? How heavy do you think the head of that costume is?
Just the head?
Just the head.
Oh, man.
10 kilograms?
10 kilograms.
It's about 20 pounds. I almost say
Okay.
12 kilograms, 25.
All right. Let's have a look at the answer.
25 kilograms? That's really heavy.
55 pounds.
Wow.
Can you imagine running with that
No
on?
way.
So that leads me to my final question. What is the farthest that Remy has run wearing this costume?
Wow. 5 kilometers?
5 kilometers? Okay.
So he's a professional runner.
Yeah.
I'll give him a half marathon. It'll
Oh
be,
my gosh. That would be
half
intense.
marathon, so that's about
20
kilometers, 21 kilometers.
Yep. All right, let's have a look at the answer.
What is that?
1,000
That's
kilometers.
crazy.
And the reason is he has actually run all the way around Taiwan wearing this costume. Now, is that
That's
incredible?
patriotic.
It is
Or-
very, he definitely likes the Techno Prince. I should mention that he actually takes it very seriously. He went to a temple once and liked this costume and asked if he could do this. And they said that actually the god himself had been wanting to go around Taiwan. So they thought it was a
What a
fated
coincidence.
connection. And they let him do it. Now, when he was doing it, he actually ate vegetarian. He didn't come in contact with women because the costume was blessed and that's taboo. But what is interesting is he did meet his wife during one of the stops.
Wow.
And the god said, this is going to be the woman you're going to marry.
That's amazing. What
Yeah.
a love story.
What an incredible story. I also want to point out one other thing. That last photo you saw there, I want to show you that again. That's actually me running with that costume on.
What? How was it?
How'd it feel, Andrew?
It was terrible. I ran less than a kilometer, and it was so heavy.
That's a lot already.
You could hear your breath and the echo inside the head.
How much sweat?
Must've been stuffy in there.
Sweating? What,
Really sweated a lot. It
what
was very
season
stuffy.
was it? What month?
It wasn't too hot, but I can imagine in the middle of the summer, forget about it.
All right, much better in here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks very much, Andrew. And that is Taiwan by number for this week.
This week on Who in Taiwan, we have for you a shy guy. Now on buzzer number 1, we have Natalie So. On buzzer number 2, we have Leslie Liao. We have 60 seconds on the clock. And are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Our mystery individual was born in Taipei on December 11th, 1997. He celebrated his 22nd birthday on Wednesday, but he's actually the head of his family. He's busiest at night. He has relatives throughout Africa and Asia. It's a dangerous world for him, so he wears armor. His name comes from a Malaysian word which means one who rolls up. His Chinese name suggests he's good at digging holes. He has a really long tongue, which is good for eating ants. He's covered in scales made of keratin, and he is a favorite here in Taiwan. Yep, Leslie?
It's a pangolin?
You are right.
Oh, nice job,
This
Leslie.
is a pangolin, and specifically,
how
this
cute.
little
Oh my
dude,
gosh, what a cute picture.
he's actually a grandpa. I don't know if you can tell by his white
No,
whiskers.
Of course I can't tell.
His name is Chuan Pang. So I guess you could call him Fatty the Pangolin. As I mentioned, he turned 22 on Wednesday.
22, that's
and
pretty
he
old.
holds the record for the oldest pangolin ever in captivity.
Wow.
In the world. So he is a grandpa. I want to show you another picture of him.
No.
He's actually the first pangolin bred in captivity at the Taipei Zoo and is the grandpa at the top of the family tree of pangolins at the zoo. Now, as you can see, he's covered in scales made of keratin for protection. He's one of the most highly trafficked animals in the world, largely because he's used in Chinese medicine.
Oh, it's terrible.
Which is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do. Another photo. This is a baby pangolin. Now, just do a little search for baby
cute.
pangolins riding on mama's tails. It's a thing.
That's what they do, huh?
Cute overload. One final picture here. This is the Taipei Zoo's brand new pangolin dome, which opened in the summer. The
Wow.
$13 million enclosure was built in the shape of what?
Pangolin?
Yes.
It's
Good
got
guess.
a luxury home.
That's
It's
right.
wonderful.
I think I've been there actually. Very, very nice. Open enclosure. There's a lot of birds and animals that are out in the open.
It's supposed to be like
It's really
rainforest
cool.
ecosystem inside of it.
Yep.
I've heard about that. Tropical forest, rainforest, yeah.
Yeah, so check that out.
Cool.
And that is this week's Who in Taiwan.
This week on Taiwan, this lady. Her name is Dai Yuan. Now, does that sound familiar to you guys?
Taiwan.
Sounds like Taiwan.
That's exactly what it's supposed to sound like. And what did she do? So, like, did she say, start, or do something that caught attention? Well, I tell you guys, you're not going to believe me, but thankfully I have this video for evidence.
Taiwan is devoted in making a better world. We have made many achievements in various fields, such as environmental protection, medical care, social welfare, equality, education, open government, and so on. However, these accomplishments aren't widely acknowledged by people. Thus, we are not confident enough to ask for a position in the world. We decided to create a Taiwanese using artificial intelligence technologies. We collected and combined headshots from 10,000 Taiwanese, putting all the facial features together for this Taiwanese girl. She has her own LinkedIn profile. She has abundant work experience which consists of Taiwan's SDGs fulfillments. She is making friends on social networks. She is promoting herself on LinkedIn for a position in NGO. We would like to know how people react to this Taiwanese girl. Introducing E1. She will prove that Taiwan can help.
So let's review. Dai Yuan is a composite of 10,000 people in Taiwan. Her likeness has been taken from people like President Tsai Ing-wen or Kaohsiung Mayor Han Kuo-yu,
wow.
former President Ma Ying-jeou, or DPP legislative candidate Ina Wu. And I just want to remind everybody that I may very well be 1/10,000th of Dai Yuan's resemblance.
Or all of us, right?
Or
Is it
Natalie.
private people too, right?
Private people as well.
Probably not me. I'm guessing I'm not.
Probably not Andrew. But what's her
I don't
purpose?
see your eyes in there, huh?
But what's her purpose? A lot of people are asking why this is going on. Well, Dai's creators, they wanted her to draw attention and be a symbol for Taiwan's achievements in regards to UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The goal here is to get her on LinkedIn and have her apply for jobs at NGOs. And this is pretty much to show that somebody with traits of Taiwan is desirable by NGOs, showing that Taiwan can make a difference. Now, she has a very impressive resume. She boasts 2 bachelor degrees, a minor, and she also has a master's. She's a legislative director, and she was once a legislative assistant. Now, she was created by this group, which is called Two Cities Street, and they submitted Dai as an entry into a competition that would maybe have them represent Taiwan at the Cannes Young Lions competition. It's a creative competition.
Okay.
Unfortunately, on December 6th, the organizing body said that they did not make it to the next round. However, they did acknowledge that Dai made a splash and went viral on the internet.
I have to say, I'm a little weirded out by this whole concept.
Do you guys find her attractive?
And she's cute, yeah.
The thing is, like, I could be 1/10,000th of her, so if I say I find her attractive,
Is
it's
that
like
incest?
it's like I'm a narcissist. I'm not okay with that. There's a lot of things here.
All right. Would you want to talk to her?
No. No, that's a little too smart for me.
This is starting to sound like a movie. What was that movie called?
Her, yeah.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
AI is getting very creepy,
yeah.
right?
No, thank
Very
you.
exciting, though. Thank you very much, Leslie. And that is #Taiwan for this week. We hope you follow us on social media and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
And finally today, where in Taiwan? Now at the top of the show, we showed you a photo and asked if you knew where and what it was. Well, let's take one more look at that photo now.
We said that this airport control tower is built in the likeness of a famous geological landscape on Taiwan's northeast coast.
Where in Taiwan is this, and what does it look like? Let's take a look at this video.
This is the newly constructed air traffic control tower at Taiwan Taoyuan International Airport, which serves Greater Taipei. It's modeled after the Queen's Head, which is a rock formation in Yelio Geopark in New Taipei City. It was given the nickname more than half a century ago because it resembles the head of a queen. The new airport control tower took over 3 years and about $420 million to build. Standing at 65 meters in height, it is head and shoulders above the older tower and houses as many as 15 different systems to help transmit and manage air traffic. It will be used in tandem with the old one, helping boost the airport's capacity from 260,000 flights to 400,000 flights a year.
Well, we sure hope you enjoyed this inside look at Taiwan this week. Be sure to connect with us on social media.
Yes, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you. For Taiwan Insider, I'm Natalie So.
I'm Leslie Liao.
And I'm Andrew Ryan. See you next week.